What's up guys, my name is ESO and welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to be taking a in-depth look at the best perk for an assassin. Like hands down, this perk is awesome. The perk I'm talking about is the Shadow Warrior perk. The description reads that crouching stops combat for a moment and then forces distant opponents to search for a target. That's not technically how it works. You are probably already familiar with a few things you can do with this perk, but to be honest with you, I've never actually seen anybody utilize the Shadow Warrior perk to its full potential. So in this video, I'm going to be giving you 6 top tips on how to use this perk to devastating effect. Tip number 1. Infinite Invisibility. Now you have the perk, whenever you crouch to enter sneak mode, your character will actually turn invisible for 1 second. You can see them vanish into a wispy black smoke. Well, it's actually possible for you to stay invisible for an unlimited amount of time, even during combat, by quickly and repeatedly entering and leaving stealth. You literally just stand up, crouch, and do it really quickly. It's an extremely useful trick considering it doesn't actually cost any resources to be able to do. The only drawback is that in order to activate Shadow Warrior, you must be close to an enemy. So for example, if you're planning on running through the whole of Whiterun without getting seen by anyone, it's not going to be 100% reliable. But if you want to run through a bandit camp without getting seen, or assassinate someone in the middle of town and then get away unseen, you're going to be able to do that. 1 second, watch this guy with the leather armor. He's like, oh no, someone's been murdered. Now's my chance just to carry on the massacre.
This can't be happening.
Tip number 2, instantly kill anybody in combat. The invisibility effect of Shadow Cloak will actually interrupt combat, which basically means that your enemy won't be able to detect you for a second. So we can actually take advantage of this trick and use it to stealth attack people, even when we shouldn't be able to. After you've been spotted by an enemy, all you need to do is enter sneak mode, which activates Shadow Cloak, and then time your attack correctly to get a sneak attack as if you were actually sneaking. Obviously, because you're invisible, the enemy can't see you, so you're always going to get a sneak attack. And if you also have the Assassin's Blade perk from the sneak skill tree, you'll get an extra 15 times more damage with daggers. So using this trick, we can literally run around and one-shot people whenever we feel like it. This will even work in a town full of people or a room full of enemies. 10 people can be looking directly at you and you can still just go around assassinating everyone with sneak attacks just because you activate the Shadow Warrior perk from entering stealth. It will take a little bit of practice, but this is ridiculously overpowered. Even if you're fighting a foe that isn't going to get killed in one hit, you can just use this tactic repeatedly until they die, unleashing stealth attack after stealth attack after stealth attack until they're dead. It's extremely useful when fighting dragons or giants on legendary difficulty, though it doesn't always work against dragons unfortunately. The only thing you need to be careful of is enemies with a shield or a weapon that can block, because they will actually block your sneak attack. In this situation, what you need to do is actually make sure you walk behind them and then assassinate them, and it'll work every single time. Otherwise your sneak attack just gets blocked. Tip number 3. Using this method of assassination also means you can wear any type of armor and still be an assassin, because noise is no longer a factor in you getting detected. You can easily just walk around in heavy armor, and whenever you want to stealth attack someone, just activate Shadow Cloak and immediately kill them. Man, this perk is truly overpowered.
The Legion's always looking for strong, capable warriors.
Personally though, I do prefer using light armor with minimal health to add a real challenge into getting instantly killed if you get hit more than once. This makes the gameplay a lot more intense and tactical. One thing you'll notice though is when you're actually in a kill cam animation, you're immune to damage, So even if someone hits you during a kill cam or you get hit by an arrow or anything, it's not going to hurt you. So try and use this to your advantage to avoid arrows and close quarters combat. You can actually see here the bandit hits me 3 times, and on the 3rd swing, when I'm about to run away, he does actually make contact, but I survived the other 2 swings that would have otherwise killed me, simply because I'm in that kill cam animation. You'll notice as well if you go back over these clips that some of the arrows and attacks go through my character because I can't be hit while in this animation. Arrows are probably going to be the most difficult thing to avoid, simply because when you're running around constantly standing and crouching, for a second the enemy will target you with their arrows and fire them. A very easy way to avoid this is to simply move left to right, and then the AI will usually 90% of the time miss you. So it is quite easy to avoid, just make sure you're aware of it. Tip number 4. This is the most important point to note, because sometimes Shadow Cloak may actually not work if your target is already in combat with another hostile or even your follower. In this example, we can see the bandits are fighting the Forsworn. So even though I'm using Shadow Cloak, I cannot actually get the sneak attack because the enemy is currently in combat with someone else. So I actually need to wait for them to die before I can sneak attack them. So if you want to utilize the skill fully, I highly suggest not bothering with a follower, because they're just going to get in your way. And you really don't need one if you're using this perk like I am, because most of the time they're just going to stop the perk from working. Before we go on to tip number 5, if you haven't already, go ahead and smash that subscribe button and then press that little bell icon as well, because then YouTube will notify you when my Skyrim Assassin build guide comes out. I'm currently working on it at the moment. I reckon it will be out in a few weeks, but if you just press that bell icon, YouTube will let you know when it's out. Now back to the video. Tip number 5. While a lot harder, it is actually possible to pull this off with a bow as well. You can simply draw your bow fully in stealth. It doesn't matter if people have detected you or anything like that. And then release the arrow, and then what you need to do is exit stealth and re-enter stealth quickly just before the arrow lands on your target to activate Shadow Warrior so they can't see you, and then you get the ×3 damage for the stealth attack. This is impossibly hard to do consistently, but it is actually possible to time it correctly, and I just wanted to let you guys know that you can do it, and I've done it, but it's very hard to do. And you can see in this example here I managed to do it, but it is really tricky. But being able to pull this off will allow you to get a 3x sneak attack bonus even in a crowded room. Obviously though, this is nowhere near as effective as just using a dagger for a 15x sneak attack damage bonus. Tip number 6. It is actually possible to get a 30x sneak attack damage bonus. I suggest wearing either the Shrouded Gloves or the Ancient Shrouded Gloves, which will double your sneak attack damage when using one-handed weapons. Meaning that if you have the Assassin's Blade perk, you'll actually be doing 30 times more damage with daggers when sneak attacking. Paired with the tips I just gave you, you'll be an unstoppable killing machine, even on legendary difficulty. And I've already made a guide for you guys on how to get a full set of Ancient Shrouded Armor at level 1 if you're interested. I'll link the guide down below in the description for you. I'm also going to be making a build guide on how to make the ultimate assassin character, and you can find that linked down below in the description if you're interested in checking it out. This is only one of the crazy tactics this build uses.
Can't hide from it.
You have committed crimes against Skyrim and her people. What say you in your defense? Then pay with your blood.